Raindrops on roses and whiskers on kittens.
Welcome back to the Festivus Series, ladies and gentlemen, at the Blood and Black Rum podcast. This year, we're celebrating the season with new and old. We might be bringing you some romance, a couple of Santa Claus killers, and a whole lot more. Stay tuned all Christmas season as we dive deep into the holiday hits.
These are a few of my favorite things.
Oh, Merry Christmas, everyone. Welcome back to the Blood and Black Rum podcast. I'm Ryan from CultSploitation.com, and I'm joined with my co-host, Martin.
How's it going?
Oh, were you the elf?
It's Festivus.
I thought you were an elf there. Giving us a nice, elf.
Because we're doing it. We're finally doing Elf after a decade. We're finally doing Elf.
Yeah, no. I can't believe we haven't done it. I actually just watched it the other day because, yes, we are into the thick of the festive season when the TV channels start airing their very lazy 24 hours of Christmas movies. So, like, the other day, TBS was running 24 hours of Elf. Because why the fuck not? You know
what? It's because nobody's sitting there. Like, what are you watching TBS for these days?
Agreed. And not only did they do Elf, but then the next day I saw that they were running 24 hours of Christmas Vacation. It's like, guys, come on. Do we not even have an AI programmer over there? Like, thinking about what's going to be programmed for the next, month of Christmas showtimes? You're just going to show one movie for 24 hours?
Remember, it used to be a wonderful thing with, like, ABC Family presents, like, 25 days of Christmas movies. And at, like, 7 o'clock, you'd get, like, a new movie every night to watch.
Yeah.
And, like, it was, like, a nice little novelty, in the mid-2000s when TBS did do on Christmas Day, 24/7,
Which they
Christmas.
still do, A Christmas Story. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean, still, like, I think, like, what you're talking about is more just what are they going to program?
Yeah.
Like, they're probably like, you're just going to watch shit on, like, Netflix or on Max.
They've given up.
So they're like, yeah, fuck it, I mean, like, it used to be great. Like, Spike TV, like, how did I get into James Bond so much? Well, from, like, 2000 to 2005, they did Bondathons for Christmas and New Year's. So it's,
Yeah. Well, anyway, I did watch Elf the other day, but that's neither here nor there. That's not what we're here to talk about today. We are starting Festivus Series, though, since we are into December, and we have a very truncated schedule this year. We don't get a lot of time to do the Festivus Series. Sometimes we get a few, get like 4 or 5 episodes. This year, we're getting a very abbreviated schedule. I think we're gonna just squeak in 4. And I'll probably have to post the last episode like before Christmas because it's gonna be really tight. But it's crazy how this year's Festivus worked out. But we're still gonna get it in, and it's time to start it this year.
Well, I was gonna say because Halloween took up 9 episodes this year.
Yeah, so, Halloween took up 9 episodes, and Thanksgiving was late, so everything is thrown off a little bit. But we do like to do Festivus Series around here. Festivus Series traditionally has been a lot of Christmas movies, but it doesn't necessarily have to be. A lot of times we do cover adjacent Christmas movies. It's not necessarily all about having to do with Christmas. In this case, we haven't really set out the full slate of movies, but I have a good thought of what we are going to be covering this year. But the first movie that we wanted to pick...
we're doing the Hebrew Hammer finally. I got
yeah. No, this movie I wanted to pick because it fit into a lot of niches that we do. We like to try to do at least one like contemporary or newly released movie for the Festivus Series. So check, because it just came out. Actually came out just I think a little, like maybe a few days before Thanksgiving, actually. And the other thing is, it is a Hallmark movie. And if you've listened to us 2 years ago, we did a Lacey Chabert Hallmark special called Shabaring Gifts. You can go check that out. I think we did like 6 episodes on that or something because
5.
5, yeah, because it
5,
extended into the New Year's.
Yes.
As
And
well.
then last year we did the newest Netflix one because she was too old for.
That's true. They threw her off Hallmark. They said, "Whoa, what's going on here? Looking a little bit haggard." So, but yeah, this new one, this is a new release, and I will say also, I'll preface this by saying, coming into the movie, I was feeling like I would be probably left out of the loop because this is technically a sequel movie.
Is it really?
Yeah, there was a movie that was released, I think it was last year, in this series. It was the same idea, but this different team. It was the Kansas City Chiefs. It was a holiday touchdown Kansas City Chiefs love story.
You know what? Why didn't you fucking tell me that? Now I'm very angry.
Right? Because I didn't want you to feel like you were losing something watching this movie before the first film. So, you know. And it's also...
You tell Hallmark that they're nothing but a bunch of goddamn whores. Just whoring out.
And not only that, but I didn't want you to feel any need to go out and do some research on the Travis Kelce Taylor Swift relationship that they have going on, because you need to know all that lore before you can understand the Chiefs' love story, of course. It's even more interesting to kind of imagine like they really truly are related movies, and like they just keep moving from different stadiums and they trying to find love and it just fails every time. Then that's an interesting Hallmark special, I think. More interesting than what we end up getting, but neither here nor there. We're talking about the new Hallmark movie, Holiday Touchdown, a Bill's love story. This is so stupid. The name alone is just so... The idea is just so stupid that we had to do it. It's right up our wheelhouse.
And me being a Bills fan.
Exactly. That's the other thing, is that we've done enough Bills beers Bills adjacent beers this season. It may only make sense now to do the Bills Hallmark movie tie-in, because and actually we probably should have saved one of those Bills beers for this episode.
Listen, I didn't think we'd do it right away. I thought eventually we'd get to this, thing, but I didn't think we'd be as topical as we usually are. So,
I moved it right on up to the top of the list. Well,
it's gonna be so tangential to the rest of our Festivus series.
Yep.
But still, though, that's part of the fun. No, you're right. It is such a fucking stupid, so shallow and
yeah.
Wow, how can we tie in Hallmark, the suburban wives who love Hallmark Christmas movies, and try to get them to wow, football,
Yeah.
This is great. Isn't this, we're having a fine fucking time? A lot of fun.
This one caught me by surprise too, because I didn't really know, I didn't hear anything about it until maybe just before, and my dad sent me over a link that was like, hey, have you seen this? You should have Martin watch this. It's going to be on next week.
I knew about it because it was on the bill, with the Bills, being oh, make sure you watch this movie.
Did they?
They
were promoting it? Uh-huh.
I'd get little things that were see on their Facebook page, and I was just that's so stupid.
I didn't even realize it. So it caught me by surprise. But the whole idea that, it's kind of a smart idea. I'm not going to lie. It's kind of a smart idea from Hallmark, because you have to imagine the crushing weight of the pressure every year that somebody in the Hallmark department that's slated to greenlight these Christmas movies has to feel every year when they sit down, probably January 5th when they come back from vacation. Christmas vacation, they're probably sitting down and all right, well, when Christmas is over, we got to start planning out next year's slate of movies that we're going to release, because the Hallmark Channel has the ambition of 60 new holiday movies to be released next year. And
well, they're the Roger Corman of these movies, you know.
Absolutely, they're just
where haven't we had Christmas yet? I know, Romanian Christmas, a holiday in Bucharest, you know.
Exactly, and that's kind of what I'm getting at is like the crushing weight of like, what haven't we done? What haven't we done? We did a bakery. We did veterinarians. Yep, we did. Yep. Zookeepers. Yeah, nope, we did that one too. And just like running down the list of like, you know, professions.
What if we did Ghost, but this time instead it's about Steve Irwin guiding, you know, his wife to find new love. Like, you know.
So what I'm saying is, I think it's kind of a smart idea because it gives Hallmark a lot of leeway. Every year, they can just plan on like, all right, we're going to be on location at the Rams Stadium, you know, this year, and we're going to shoot one over there this time. And, you know, it gives them some leeway.
How dare you? That's SoFi. It's SoFi, okay? SoFi Field Stadium.
I feel like it you know, it opens up a very large gamut of possibilities for Hallmark to collaborate with other. How about FIFA? FIFA next, you know?
For the World Cup, yeah. Hey, listen, we understand that because of everyone thinking we're a bunch of fucking goony goober dipshits with ice and stuff. We need people to actually be able to come in and watch the World Cup. I know, Hallmark. Trump needs you to have a FIFA World Cup love story where they're going down to the Meadowlands and they're gonna watch this little team called Azerbaijan play. You know, play Greece or something, and it's gonna be wonderful, and they're gonna find love, and they're gonna little Azerbaijan, you know, is gonna end up winning the World Cup, and it's gonna be magical. Down at the Meadowlands, what a wonderful time, you know.
How about a, you know, an Australian version of cricket? You know, holiday cricket, you know, the possibilities are endless for this. So they can run through all the NFL teams. They can start with different, you know, what am I saying? Different sports. Run through all the different sports.
Holiday in Edinburgh, the Scottish.
Yeah. So again, the sky's the limit here. And you know, this is I believe it's the second year in a row that they've released a holiday touchdown film. The first one was obviously a definite attempt to cash in on the Taylor Swift, Travis Kelce paraphernalia and merchandising that's available with the Kansas City Chiefs team. And this year, you know, it's not unheard of to think that they were trying to cash in on, for one thing, Josh Allen's marriage, the Bills' kind of popularity spiking, and then not only that, the new stadium that they're building for the Bills, which, as we'll talk about when we get into the film itself, it is almost like an advertisement for the whole stadium itself. It's like basically like Kathy Hochul started funneling a bunch of money over to Hallmark saying, hey, Hallmark, any interest in helping to promote and kind of give positive remarks about this new stadium that a lot of people, Buffalo fans included, are not really that excited about for the stadium? You know, you could help us try to drive any positive encouragement for the stadium. So it seems like they were doing all of that at once, and we'll talk about how Holiday Touchdown kind of expands on all of those ideas after the break. But let's take a break real quick and talk about the holiday Christmassy beer that we have on the show today, because that's going to be a thing that we're going to try to do throughout our next 4 episodes, is to have sort of a holiday theme going on with our beers. So with that said, let's talk about the beer that we have on here. So yeah, the beer that I got, I think it was like last week, picked up along with the other pack of stuff that we got, was one that stood out to me because I think we had seen it before, and it obviously has a holiday, relation to the season. So it was one that I wanted to try out. And I've also had a few of the different beers in this series before. So, I have that FOMO. So I like to try all the beers in a series. So, this one's from DuClaw Brewing Company. That is from New Jersey. And this one is in the Pastryarchy series, like patriarchy, but for pastries, obviously being the pun. And this one is the Candy Cane Imperial Stout. Now, I will be honest here. I don't think this beer is in production anymore. I don't think that they're releasing it. So if you were to go out and try to find it, probably won't be able to find it unless they have an old one available near you. In our case, our beer store did have a few old ones, and I had a feeling it was, but I wasn't positive, and there was no can date on it, so I just took a chance because it's an Imperial Stout, and the dates don't really matter in the same way that something like a hoppy beer or like a sour beer would matter. So I said, you know what? That's an Imperial Stout. I'll be fine if it's out of date. So they cellared it for us, basically. So we got the Candy Cane Imperial Stout in here. I'll let you go first. I'll let you tell me what you think about the Candy Cane Imperial Stout.
Well, because you were saying you wish you had something more Bills themed for the beer, you actually hit the hammer on the nail here, because like 7 different times in this movie, Santa's giving out and be like, oh, candy cane, so it is a nice tie-in. An unexpected, unplanned one, but it's a nice tie-in. I like it a lot. For a stout, very, especially an Imperial Stout, 7.5%, very easy, drinking, warming, big candy cane, peppermint, taste. Obviously, if you're not a fan of peppermint, that big candy cane taste, not going to be for you. Nice, like, cocoa, chocolate, a little bit of coffee notes on it. Very, nice hearty body on it. It's not bad at all. Especially for, like, the style, it definitely fits the season, so. Excuse me. Surprised, because I'm not a big, I'm not that, big of a stout guy these days. But for the season, this hits the mark, so. Not bad at all.
Yeah, I think this one's pretty good. I think that DuClaw's Pastryarchy series tends to be pretty good. Their Imperial Stout itself, maybe a little bit lacking on the stout department. I think it's not bad, but it's probably not the best stout. So that kind of brings some of the adjuncts that it adds to it down a little bit. In this case, the Candy Cane Stout is kind of growing on me as I keep drinking it. At first, I thought it was a little bit too bitter with this sort of stouty, mocha-y chocolate notes that were in the stout. But as I've been going on, the candy cane is definitely very prominent, very pepperminty. Like, again, it has notes of like a peppermint mocha style at times. So overall, I think it's pretty good. It's not the best peppermint stout I've had, but I think it is pretty good. And, I definitely would recommend anybody who is looking for a holiday beer, try it out, because it definitely has sort of all of the things that you would be looking for in a holiday type beer like this, from the peppermint to the hot chocolatey notes, all of that kind of lends itself very well. So, pretty good beer. Again, like I said, I don't think you're going to be able to find it unless you do happen to find some that's been stored away, because it's not currently being made in production. And I think that this Pastryarchy line in general is sort of like limited release, and once they move on from the style, they move on. Like, there's no more. They're not making it anymore. So, but anyway, pretty interesting. Nicely tied in with this movie today. So, serendipitous there. Glad.
Ooh, great word.
Yeah.
Love that word.
Yeah. All right, let's talk about Holiday Touchdown, a Bill's love story. I know you said going into this episode that you had a lot to discuss about this movie, and I don't doubt it, because again, there's a real danger in opening up a can of worms, like touching on Buffalo Bill's lore and history. that this film does that kind of lends itself to criticism from real hardcore fans, as well as people who are on the other side of things. They're tuning in because of the love story, and they're like, what is all this Bill's nonsense about? You know, who are these old men that keep showing up and they keep making big deals about them? I don't
like,
understand.
oh my God, that's, you know.
Yes. So I guess I'll let you go first and take it away, and you guide us where you want to go first.
All right, well, I just want to say, first off, before we even get into the film, one of the biggest issues I have with this film is it's so shallow, and it's like, you know, Billsdom.
Mm-hmm.
It's very like, again, Bill's Mafia, chicken wings, beef on weck. When it's too cold for them, it's just right for us. Where would you rather be than right here, right now? And it's just very shallow.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like the film was made. I mean, and that's fine, Dean, because those are all like you know, Bill's things. But sure. I feel like the film was mainly made because it's just a giant advertisement to be like, just to Erie County alone and New York State, to be like, hey guys, we know nobody wants this new fucking stadium and us to pay for it. So we're gonna like sell it to you. Like, can't you wait to go to the new Highmark Stadium? It's gonna be great. Doesn't the stadium look great? First and foremost, this is something that really got me pissed off. When they're talking about like, oh, we gotta have our last Christmas picture at the stadium. Yeah, I remember my first time at Highmark Stadium. If you're a goddamn fan and you're referring to that stadium, the one before, when Joe Pantaleone's talking about War Memorial, the rock pile, which, you know, you'd have to be Joe Pantaleone to, like, know about that because, again, the stadium was, for their days in the AFL and closed, you know, they got the stadium that they have now in 73. You're either calling that stadium Rich Stadium if you're really old, or the Ralph, because it was named Ralph Wilson Jr., you know, Stadium until New Era Field and then Highmark. Nobody calls that fucking thing Highmark. Nobody called that thing New Era when it got the name. You're either calling it Rich or the Ralph. And because I'm a millennial, and with like knowing millennial Bills fans, it's the fucking Ralph. Don't insult our intelligence. Nobody goes around and says, Highmark Stadium. By the way, like, what they might as well have said too, like, by the way, you know why I became a doctor? Because Highmark, you know, Blue Cross Blue Shield insurance is a really good. It's like basically like when we saw Tim and Eric live, and they're doing like Aetna, a health play. I love my health insurance. It does so much for me. I love Aetna. You know, it's the same thing here. Like, stop. Like, I get it. It's a commercial. You're trying to sell the stadium, the new experience that's going to be coming. But it just pisses me off because, one, a lot of people aren't going to be able to afford to go to that new stadium. I'll probably never go to that new stadium because I'm not going to be able to afford it. I'm not paying $300 to go to a fucking football game, drive 4 hours there and 4 hours back, you know, spend 12 hours out all day doing that just for, like, you know, especially now with, like, HD TV and stuff, you can just enjoy it at home. Mm-hmm. The novelty of that kind of experience is gone, especially now too, because a lot of people are like, oh, you can just, why don't you get a hotel? Do you want to spend another $100 on a one nightly hotel? Like, fuck that, you know. So, but I mean, it's so, like, you know, that's why the Ralph as it is now is like a shithole of a stadium. And you've been there. We've been to, I've been to about like 10 games in my life. You've been to one with me. And as glorious as in the winter. So you know from experience too, they got piss troughs. You know, the seating is, you know, a fucking aluminum bench. Yeah. It's the no thrills experience. But that's what makes it, like, when you go, you know, that's what, you know, when you go to that, you're like, yeah, you know, this is why the tickets cost $50 instead of $250, you know.
And not only that, too, this movie, when they show them in the stadium in December, this movie was shot in, like, August. There's no fucking way everybody is sitting in that stadium nice and comfy, watching the game, like, doesn't look cold, Doesn't look, no one's freezing. No one's cuddling over a cup of hot coffee because it's so cold that this is like the only heat that you have available to you.
I had to. The game we went to there, it was in the last game of the year. It was Bills Jets at home. Chan Gailey was getting fired at the end of that year. And everyone saying like, nah, hey, goodbye Gailey. And I had to buy an extra pair of socks at the store because my feet were so soaking wet from the mush and shit, like, because it snowed a shit ton. I bought a nice Timmy's. That's another thing that pisses me off, too. They're at these, like, oh, we're going to be, like, this is so Billsy, but they're so bourgeois. Like, here's your sugar cookie caramel frappe at this generic coffee store. And it's like, if you're going to have them standing around talking around, where's Tim Hortons, But I got my Tim Hortons coffee, and that's the one thing that was keeping me warm on that day. That and the Bills did actually win. And my mom and my dad were sitting 2 rows, like, front of us, Ryan and I asked my dad, like, hey, who's calling the game today? Like for CBS or whatever. He just looks at me, grabs the program, whips it at me, fucking knocks my coffee out of my hand and all over me, and there went my warmth for the game. But where's that? Like, it's so bourgeois and just tepid. People not like when you talk about when people are like, oh, Buffalo, like the working class city. It's like, well, this what definitely took place out in the suburbs because these people weren't experiencing Buffalo forever.
I agree. I think the film itself is, I feel like they do try. They try to get the things in here that people would recognize. You could just imagine, what they were hoping for was somebody that was a Buffalo fan or somebody who lives around Buffalo or Aurora, whatever. They would be sitting back watching this movie, and they would see fiddlers, and they would be like, "What? They got fiddlers in there," and very excited.
That's
about it.
The one reference I didn't get because even though I have family that lives out that way, that lived out in Depew and stuff. Like a five and dime out in Buffalo. Fiddlers!
I know. It's
not,
so funny.
Not on the list of things
they drop these things in there, and I do appreciate that they did the research of okay, here's a store that's been around for years, and let's get this in here because it's a trademark of Buffalo. But at the same time, it all feels really cheesy and cringy a lot of times, the way that it's presented to the audience, because it's in such a very
vapid,
in your face fashion, or even when they have the sign for the hospital, because she's a doctor. The main protagonist is a doctor, and she works at a children's hospital, and they the film makes a point to 2 or 3 times get a centered shot of the hospital name just to be here you go, we're centering you, here's where we are in Buffalo. And it just feels really I don't know, just very obnoxious the way that they present it. And what I think is kind of interesting about the... Oh, go ahead. I
was going to say, same thing, too. The opening, you hear Steve Tasker and Chris Brown, give it... I don't know if they have, a morning radio show. I don't think they do. Chris Brown is the Bills radio play-by-play guy now. He was, for quite a couple of years with John Murphy, the, a color guy and a sideline guy, but he took over after, John Murphy's, health issues, and he had to retire. But and Tasker's been doing radio and CBS stuff for forever. But I don't know if there's an actual morning show that they have. So it's really weird to start it off to have Steve Tasker here at 6 o'clock in the morning. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? And it's
yeah,
just to really hammer in home this is a Bills movie.
That's right. And I really I find it really interesting just looking at the information about this movie that the writers on the movie, Vanessa Morano and Danielle Morrow, they've never written anything else. Okay? They're not writers. It's not like they were the crack team over at Hallmark that was all right, we got you setting the countdown to Christmas movies over here at Hallmark, and we've got a writer's board that's just going to be cranking them out over the course of the year. No, the two people attributed to this movie are two people who have never written a movie before. One thing, they're primarily actresses, and then secondarily, they are from across the country. They're from California, both of them.
California.
And it's like, so in the scheme of things, why would you have these two people, these particular two people, sitting down to write a Buffalo Bills romance for Christmas? I just don't understand it. And it kind of, I find it funny. They did some research, so at least we have that, there was some research done to get, obvious locales, and, and maybe I shouldn't even attribute that so much to the writers as to the point that where they probably put in, like, in the script, like, generic Buffalo place here,
Or Chat GPT. Like.
Yeah, they go to Buffalo's, mafia house, and just wrote it in the script like that. And then when they got to Buffalo and actually shot on location, they're like, okay, here's where we're gonna shoot. Here's the places that we're gonna do. But it's kind of weird because it does come off as like very, like you said, kind of Chat GPT-esque of like, what would Buffalo Bills fans do if they were in Buffalo,
And if it was very neutered. You know who should have written this story? Nick Bakay.
Yeah.
Salem the Cat and, Dag Norbert from Angry Beers. Daggy Waggy. And
Big Buffalo
famed Bills fan. Him and Brian Dunkelman are the two. And Summer Sanders.
That's right.
Wolf Blitzer likes to claim he's a Bills fan, but fuck him.
You don't claim him. Buffalo.
No,
Buffalo doesn't claim Wolf Blitzer.
No, the one when they finally made it to the playoffs in like 2017, he's like, I'm Wolf Blitzer here in the Situation Room, and I just want to say, well, it's been a while, but I was a writer in Buffalo for 2 days, so go Bills, and like that's like something that should have been like mentioned, like when they were talking about like, what's your favorite game of all time? Well, it's got to be the 2019 Patriots game in the playoff, which was a great game, where they absolutely destroyed them and made them look foolish and all that. But like, so nobody said, especially with like, because the film is very 90s, early 90s Bills laden, because it's all of the heroes of lore, you're from there, from Scott Norwood and Andre Reed, Tasker. Thurman Thomas, Jim Kelly, it's like, no one was like, well, the wild card game when they, the greatest comeback of all time against the Oilers, like that. No one said that, like, that would have been easy, It's just silly. And not only that though, too, where is like my Bills fan? Like the millennial who lived through all of that like heartbreak and pain. Like they're just like the only time frame that exists in this, like, these fans' hearts are the 90s and then the modern Josh Allen era. Where's my fan going like, all right, we went from Drew Bledsoe to J.P. Lossman to Kelly Holcomb to Trent Edwards to E.J. Manuel to Ryan Fitzpatrick to just like listing like all the nasty like years that we had as a team, the misery and pain, and that, and that's the sad thing too. I think I mentioned before on the podcast, but like now that I'm older and like I'm not as invested in sports, like when I was young, even in like college, I like live and die by like these games, and like it ruined like my week if they lost. And the game where Stevie Johnson dropped the fucking ball in the end zone against the Steelers, and he's like, why you do this to me, God, on Twitter and stuff, or like that shit broke me up. And now it's just like, because they're good, I expect things, but I'm just not nearly as invested. And like it's just funny to think about, because it's like, man, I do kind of miss the days when they were dog shit, because it was like they were dog shit. I was riding or dying, like, come on, we got this, we can do it, and never did. Yeah.
What do you think about the cameos of all the players in this movie?
Like I said, it's too for like like the players from the team now that they brought on, fine, there's no real big stars like, Deion Dawkins is a lineman and DeMar Hamlin and
right. There's no, they didn't get Josh Allen. Josh Allen is not.
He's too busy. They got McDermott though. He was there, talking it up for a little bit, the coach. But I mean, for like players of old, like would have been nice if they saw Juice running.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people forget O.J. Simpson. Before a murderer, double convicted in civil court, not in the eyes of the law though. 2,000-yard runner for the Buffalo Bills.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. It's fine. It's fine that they get the players in because I think that is actually, again, like sort of a reference. Because to be honest with you, at the end of the day, this movie is very, very tangentially about the Bills. But, forget all the other stuff, like all the backdrops of like outrageous, like Buffalo merch and, stuff that you see, like Christmas lights decorated as blue and red and white and stuff like that.
The pom-poms. Electric.
And yes, in the glitter pom-poms, all the glitter pom-poms. Forget all of that stuff, because that's all set dressing. That's easy. But when it comes down to the actual film itself and the plot of it, it really is very tangentially related to the Bills at best, because the film is constantly like looking for ways to be like, how can we actually involve the Bills in this movie? What does this even have to do with the Bills whatsoever? And
you know what I've never done in my life as a diehard Bills fan? Been with like somebody that I'm hitting on, been like, just think about it. Where else would you rather be than right here, right now? And they're like, what, at this shitty bar? And you hitting on me?
Yeah.
Isn't this all tied together? Isn't this all great? Like it's so like, just like I said, it's very like, it's just like, it's platitudes basically. Like just like, we're gonna like every basic thing that like a fan would know, like, okay, rip it off and like, oh, I'm gonna jump through a table, but they're not drinking blue light and like hammered as shit, like,
yeah, they only make jokes as an aside about that sort of thing. Like the one brother-in-law or whatever who's like, oh man, I can't take my shirt off and jump through the table.
That guy looked like Aaron Rodgers,
Yeah, a little bit, But like I said, the plot itself is just, if you did not have the Bills paraphernalia and everything, and everybody, literally everybody in Buffalo and Aurora in the surrounding area saying, I'm a fucking huge Bills fan. Like, literally everybody proclaiming from the rooftops. Like you can't, they're like vegetarians. You can't go anywhere without somebody saying I'm a fucking Bills fan in this movie. There's no one around that says like, actually, I grew up in, LA, so I'm not a Bills fan.
Well, that's the opener when she's at the bar in the Bills-Dolphins game, and, the guy's like, I lost my shoe, isn't that funny? She's like, couldn't give a shit, and it's like, yeah, no, you fucking dork, like, and she's like, oh, and he's like, this isn't working out, you seem, like, disinterested, and she's like, well, the game's on.
Yeah.
When they score that touchdown, you should be yelling, like, squish the fish! Like, they wouldn't be like, oh, yeah, touchdown against the Dolphins. You'd be yelling like, squish that fish, fuck,
I just love it, though. I just love that, movie.
Then, you know what's great, though? If you get a bad date, apparently, at that bar, guy gives you a Moscow Mule Christmas.
That's true.
For
that
free.
Is true. That's
for
like
free.
a
What
$15 drink in the outskirts of Buffalo there. It's... No one's gonna be...
You think maybe that guy's gonna be the love interest, because he's like, hey, whenever you got, pick that guy up, don't do that again. Yeah. Here's your Moscow Mule. Merry Christmas. Like, he's a handsome guy. And he's rugged, Yeah.
I know. That's something there. Getting a nice Moscow Mule for free. But yeah,
even in the copper mug too. Like it's like after I get done pounding a baker's dozen of garlic parmesan wings and some scalloped potatoes, I like to wash it down with a nice Moscow Mule.
I guess too, what I was trying to say is with you're fine. with the film so tangentially related to Bills when you like really boil it down, where the overall plot itself is extremely tepid. It is just has very, very little going on. The whole idea is that basically our main protagonist, Morgan, obviously looking for love, right? Because that's a Hallmark movie. And she has a friend, a childhood friend, been friends for many years, and they just...
I thought this was a Hallmark movie, not an anime.
Yeah. They just, they just always been platonic. But his name is Gabe, and he's a very handsome man, but they just, they just bat each other's lashes at each other and stuff, but they're just friends. And they're trying to find the mystery gift sender to Joe Pantoliano's character, Uncle Tommy, who gets a whole backstory about, when I came back from Vietnam after I got drafted, I, was a different person, and we just never reconnected. And so the whole idea is that they're doing this sort of like mystery search of who is sending these, secret admirer gifts. And that's the whole movie. That's the whole movie is 2 or 3 visits to the local store, the 5 and 10 Vidlers, to find a receipt of who bought the gift.
So, like, a couple of things. First off, this film should have been made in the 90s. Because, one... I was in them.
Such a weird.
I came back and your mother and like the kids that couldn't afford any meals on a private salary, so they were getting secret gifts like groceries and the Christmas gifts, and it kept going on for years. And even after I got back from them, and we tried to figure it out, and it's like the man's like 80 years old, and they're like, I wonder who could have done that. It's like the person who probably was doing that is probably dead. Like,
yeah, exactly.
Like you think about it, it's like the people that you're thinking about probably could be doing this. Is that now? Granted, he got something that year, but still, it's like
the funniest.
What makes you think the person is still like?
Yeah, the funniest thing is when they get the receipt and they're like, "We found the address. We found the address." It's like, yeah, they lived there 50 years ago. Who says they still live in that house? Like,
in Hallmark movies, they never will.
Right, yeah. And then,
but also too, the idea of like, we got all the receipts 50 years back. It's like no company saves receipts 50 years back.
They just save them in this nice attic that they have of just like receipt after receipt after receipt.
The ornament overflow station, and also where we keep the receipts.
You never know when somebody needs to return one of these little knickknacks from 1970. Yeah,
I guess at Vidler's, I guess at Vidler's it's like Craftsman, like it's a lifetime warranty.
That's right.
And did you say you bought that? Hold on, I gotta go upstairs and pull the receipt. Like, it's so fucking stupid. Like,
the idea of the plotting is so lukewarm. Of just like, so even if they do end up tracking them down, which they do in the movie, it's just like, what is going to happen when you track down this person who keeps sending them like Bill's paraphernalia? Like, who cares? And I think that the whole part of this movie that really seems outlandish is the fact that it keeps bringing up Vietnam in such like a Hallmarky type of like quirkiness of like, oh yeah, he got drafted to Vietnam. It was like a fun time. He got to experience exotic locales. Like, the film never treats it like the seriousness that it really should be treating something like that. And it almost feels like the writers were just tasked with, like, the NFL said, make sure you include a reference that we like to salute our troops. Because that's a big thing with the NFL now, is like the whole fucking military flyover and the salute our servicemen and all that kind of bullshit. Grandstanding that the NFL does now. It almost seems like it was a mandatory thing that the film makes note of a service member so that it could have that whole sequence at the end of the movie where they're like, look at us honoring servicemen and women who served possibly against their will in the Vietnam War. I don't know. It feels very
man.
Yeah. Like, it feels very yucky to me. It feels like taking real situations of people who were unfortunately sent to war for really poor reasons and then like just making light of it. And it's like, look how good Joe Pantoliano's doing.
Well, I was saying, well, they do show like that, like, yeah, like he wasn't like he didn't sign up. He was drafted out of school and all that. Like, so they do show that, but again, you're right. It's very like like, you know, you don't see him sitting there being like, the horror. Yeah. When I got back to Nam, you know, I went and I helped my mom out and the kids, and then your dad died, and I was like, well, I can't have sex with women anymore or do anything. I gotta raise this child. I gotta raise these kids, and I've been celibate for 50 years.
That is also another thing that I found very peculiar about this movie is like, why did Uncle Tommy have to ditch his entire life? Because her father died. It makes no real sense to me. There's like, what has she got? No, her mom can't work? What's going on here? Like, what? Yeah, she can't be a single mom without the help of Uncle Tommy here. Like, what's the deal? I don't quite understand it, and I think too the film has like a sort of
it's like this Mormon-esque, like very like, you know, I like again like because like the whole like, oh, Morgan and Gabe, we don't know what we want. Everyone's like, oh, you want to fuck. And it's like, you're 40 years old, you're a doctor, and like, and you're sitting there going, pussy. And it's like, you like, come on. Like,
also, yeah.
It's like, these people are too old to be doing the whole, like, oh, I don't know how I feel. It's like, okay, Shinji, go back to Ava, get in the robot, and come back when, you know, you earn that beard.
I also think that I just refuse to recognize that, like, you know, a professional doctor working in like a very large hospital system in a prestigious position and a guy who is tasked with complete, like, you know, designing the entire fucking stadium for some reason, like, you know, for the new stadium the Bills are getting, that they're these two people are just completely inept at every other part of their life besides, you know, being professionals. It's just, I don't know.
They're too autistic. That's why she handles the children so well. And like, they're so, no. It's like, they're like super perfect, like fine human beings. But when it comes to like, I don't know if I want to tell her I want to put a pinky in her asshole. Like, come on. You know, Gabe's a handsome man. You think at college he wasn't like, you know, having ladies like just, you know.
What do you think about,
you know, shooting their panties at them, like, you know, like from a slingshot? Like, come on.
What do you think about the whole idea of Morgan on her day off going into the children's hospital to coax a little girl who can't take a needle? That's like the most outrageous thing in this movie. I don't care about it. She's just so sweet.
And not only that, though, too, she did that. The insurer took notice and is going to bill extra because the fucking nurse couldn't get it in there. And like, you had to call it the guy.
I can't even imagine. I can't even imagine a situation where the nurse was like, sorry to bother you, doctor. We have to give a life-saving medication of antibiotics to this little girl. She's going to die in 2 hours, but she won't let us put a needle in her. Can you come in here?
She's very afraid of the needle.
You know, 45 minutes in traffic. Can you come into the hospital and help her with the needle?
See, that's what this film doesn't talk about. It's actually, this whole film's actually just a fever dream from that child. It's when she doesn't get her medicine because she's being so, you know, fidgety about the needle. And now it's, you know, a Make-A-Wish time. And that's why Mar Hamlet and them all show up. They're like, oh, she's knocking on heaven's door.
That would be a grim turnaround if at the end of the movie it reveals like, yeah, sorry, this was actually all Make-A-Wish. Wow. Yeah, there's a lot of avenues that this movie could have taken to have been a lot more interesting than it is, because at the end of the day, this movie is super milquetoast. And it's milquetoast because it probably even more so than I would say some of the other Hallmark movies that we did with Lacey Chabert, which again, there were some movies in that Lacey Chabert string that we did that we didn't really care for because they were goofy. You know, they didn't have as good of a plot. But in this movie, it's so milquetoast because it really has no real plot to it. And the problem with that is that it actually, you know, it has like two different tangents that it goes on. It has this whole Uncle Tommy, we got to find a really nice present for him. And it has the bills thing that it tries to incorporate. And neither of those things really work very well. And they kind of clash with each other, and it doesn't really come together until the end of the movie where they're like, let's just get them in the stadium. Like let's just get them in there and we'll deal with the aftermath in the stadium.
You gotta be doing a bad job when Santa Claus is constantly like, just tell her that you want to fuck her.
Yeah. This movie does take advantage of the whole idea of like street Santa is the real Santa, which was popular with Christmas with the Cranks, and they ran with it. Took the
It's a miracle on Abbott Palace.
And as you said, that Santa Claus is very, very much similar to Clancy Brown.
I thought at first it was Clancy Brown before he said anything, because he kind of looked like him, and I was like, God, this movie's gonna be excellent. Clancy Brown's in it. And no, it wasn't, but still.
I think,
but like I said, like a lot of. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh no, that's okay. I was just gonna say, I think he just really looks like Clancy Brown in Santa dress, which makes it seem more like Clancy Brown looks like Santa.
Mr. Krabs.
I think the man is basically Santa Claus.
He's just Mr. Krabs.
Yeah.
What do you think about, like you said, so again, a lot of like good food being shown, but like, I have a lot of umbrage with some of the things. Okay. Lemon pepper wings.
Okay.
While good.
Yeah.
Oh, while good, who's ordering lemon pepper?
Yeah, it's probably not my first pick, for sure.
2, I am glad they don't say buffalo wings.
They didn't. They seem to,
because
and there was no mention of like Buffalo Wild Wings.
Wings. Yeah, no. I'm surprised they didn't have like duffs or like plastered all around, or I'm drawing a blank on the pizza sponsor that the Bills have, but or like a Wegmans in the background.
Mm-hmm.
But like, I'm glad they don't say buffalo wings, because I've mentioned it before on the podcast. People who call chicken wings buffalo wings, you're wrong. They're just fucking chicken wings. Don't ever say buffalo wings. You're trash. 2, like the whole like smorgasbord they're having, like while they're having the party in the beginning, like Steve Sherp was like, here's the wings, here's this, I got the beef on whack, and it's like, just like they're running through like everything, like, this is Buffalo. Where else can you get a beef on whack? You can't anywhere else. It's in Buffalo. And it's like, who's like getting like that mountain of food, like 20 beef on wax? Like, apparently Bobby Bacala's got a lot of money to spend on this shit, like.
How do you feel about burning the stew? You have stew on football night?
Like, what the hell is that all about?
You have stew
we burned the stew. How do you can't burn a stew. It's a stew. It's literally built to be like
sustained.
Like sustainable food. Like there's I don't know. Like that had me cracking up, because I was like, what do you mean you burn like stew? You cook a stew. You cook a stew low and slow, so it's impossible to burn the stew unless somebody ran by the Traeger or something, like turn the heat up high. Like it doesn't make any sense.
They put the stew in the oven for some reason. They started cooking the stew. I don't know.
And then Uncle Tommy, he's like, I can fix it. I know how to fix the burnt stew,
though, Joe Pantoliano, I have to say, I actually literally just watched him in another movie too, Feast of the Seven Fishes, and he plays like sort of like a, he's like a Italian guy in sort of like a mafioso type role, but he's like, it's kind of like tangential to the movie, like it's just kind of hinting at like, yeah, he's probably in the mafia, but like he's also a really nice guy. And he did a great job in that movie, and he does a great job in this movie, and he really holds this movie together, because I feel like without him as Uncle Tommy, this movie really doesn't exist. There's like nothing.
So you're saying Steve Sherpa's not enough to carry?
No, Steve Sherpa.
You're saying Bobby Bacala's not enough to hold this whole fucking thing together.
No,
I'm a little upset that they're Italian. Like, why aren't they Polish?
Yeah.
Make it more realistic, like,
I think that Joe Pantoliano is the glue here that holds it together.
He's sitting there looking at the ornaments, and he's like, I know this is bullshit, but I feel it. I can taste it?
Yeah. I think
I'm into the Matrix.
I think he brings at least a little bit of energy, because I would say that, and I don't necessarily want to say that this is the fault of the actors. Like, I don't know that Holland Roden and Matthew Daddario are bad actors, and they certainly, you could tell that they're better than, some of the other people that show up in this film that are like, either extras or even the players or the coach themselves. Secondary. You could tell that they are better than them. So I don't want to say that it's their acting ability, but the way that they're written is very boring, right? Like both Morgan and Gabe are boring people. They're just absolutely boring. They have no real personalities. They only think like and
it's just their job, and it's just a job and family.
Exactly, it's just their job and family, and most of all, it's just bills. And I feel like that's a problem. Yeah, go ahead.
And again, like I said, like because if you're tying it to the bill, like being a Bills fan, it's so tepid and so like very generic, and it just doesn't work. I don't think they do a bad job. I think the film, for like the main cast parts, like again, Joe Pantoliano's the best part, obviously, and you can even tell like with like at parts when he's like reading his lines and stuff, like he's kind of looking at the camera and like, this is bullshit. Like this is just a giant commercial. But like they don't do like Holland Roden and Matthew Daddario. They don't do a bad job. The problem is it's a Hallmark movie, and it's meant to be a fucking shot like a soap opera, have the cliches of a soap opera, and it's like, again, how many Lacey Chabert films did we watch and it's all coffee, walk, and talk stuff? Coffee, walk, and talk and stuff. It's the same thing here, too. They do the same stuff. It's just a matter of the style of films that Hallmark pumps out that doesn't, like, allow for a level of real engagement, because it's not interested in that. It's interested in being pulp. It's in just being easy, disposable pap for people to consume.
Yeah. No, I agreed. And I mean, I think it works. Obviously Hallmark is...
It's not offensive.
No.
There's nothing offensive about it, but they're again, like the mileage of like, I wonder about the people who sit and watch this stuff, and this is it for them. Oh no! This is what scratches the itch. Like I feel the same like about my mom when she sits and tells me like, oh no, I watch Channel 6 all day, so she watches CBS 6 all day, and Price is Right, the Wayne Brady Show. Days of Our Lives, The Bold and the Beautiful, Young and the Restless, and then the news. And it's like every day. And it's like, who is this for? Is it just for 70-year-old people? Like, I don't know.
There's probably a few people out there who are like, if I don't get my next Hallmark holiday movie, I am just going to end it. This is it. I need that.
Well, time to say goodbye.
And you know what? I've known a few people who literally were just followed Hallmark movies. They were like, there's a new one next week. And there's kind of a nice thing about that, of just like being able to look forward to the expectation of something like this that's very, like you said, very pappy and just overall, just a very like easygoing, entertaining mix of positivity, I guess is what I would call it. Now, at the same time, do you feel like these Hallmark movies and like something like Holiday Touchdown has like an overall, I won't say offensive, but like a ridiculous level of naivety to it? There's like, to me, there's like a little bit of this sickening naivety of the film that's just like, we are going to intentionally refrain on touching on anything that might be a little bit of a downer. That's like actual reality seeping into this movie.
It's the only time you ever see somebody like be impoverished and like struggle busing, and like they somehow make it into, look at that. Someone was nice enough to bail them out.
And like you said too, even the child that's in the hospital is not a sickly child. It's not like we're in a cancer ward or anything. It's just like a kid who's in there and is like, yeah, I needed an immunization. Like, I'm in the hospital, but I just needed like a couple shots and I'm good to go. You know, the film is so naively positive that it almost feels like it's just not part of reality. And I think that's, I don't know. It bothers me.
It does, but I mean, again, that's just a Hallmark staple.
Like, it is.
It's so like sanguine, like just like, what? Here's our like tailgate party, and like it's all everyone's all together, and got their potlucks ready. What do you drink? I'm drinking a cider.
The thing that strikes me too about this, when I say like naive, is that this movie doesn't even have any conflict. The conflict that it really has is that the whole point of where they get to where they actually find Uncle Tommy's mystery sender, and she says she doesn't want to be revealed, and they're like, "Oh my God, we can't tell him now." Like, that's the conflict. That's the whole bitch.
You bitch. Yeah, I know. She's 80 years old, just like Tom, and she. Yeah. I don't know if I could tell him that I like him, because what if he says no? And it's like, you're 85 years
I've lived
old.
my life alone for years, and
like,
I can't tell him.
Let that go, Rose. Let it sink into the sea. It's just stupid, because Joe Pantaleone's makes a little bit more sense. It goes back from Nam. He went looking for her, couldn't find her, and he's like, she probably moved on, whatever. And
yeah, that definitely makes sense.
But the fact that she's the one giving the gifts every year, and she's like, I don't want him to know, and it's like, you're both knocking on death's door, and you probably haven't had your diddle or diddle by, a nice goatee in a long time, so like it's just silly. That's the thing, and that's not just these movies, but that's the thing I hate about like stuff like this. Is like, again, you're treating these people who are 90 years old like they're children, like they have like these toddler brains. The man went off to Nam. I'm pretty sure he banged a whore or two over in Saigon. Like, just like, don't treat it like it's like just this big Catholic service or something. Like, it's just ridiculous. It's just so stupid.
I agree. I think, like,
it takes us going to the last Bills holiday, which again is funny too. How do you know the last football game of the year for Christmas time is going to be in Buffalo? Like, it's not every year they get those types of games. But every year we go to a Bills game around Christmas time. We take a family picture at Highmark Stadium. It's just it's just so stupid. You want to know? I've actually been to a Christmas game for the Bills.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, 2016. Bills Dolphins. Squish the fish.
Nice.
Christmas Eve. It's Christmas Eve. Me and my friends from work, we went up to the Ralph, not Highmark, Ralph. We brought 2 bottles of Jägermeister. I brought a 30-pack of Jenny Cream.
Awesome.
My buddy Scott, he was handing out Jaeger to everyone. He's like, "Are you old enough to drink? I don't care. Merry Christmas." Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. We went to the field house. Santa was there. We all sat on his lap, got a picture with him. And we're like, Santa's like, "What do you boys want for Christmas this year?" And we're like, "Just the Bills win, Santa." And he's like, "I think they're going to win today. Merry Christmas." We lost 34-31 in overtime. But it's the most yards at that time. Most yards the Bills ever put up in a game. I don't know if it still stands or not, but 528 yards they put up that game. Nice. It was a heartbreaker. Not only that, though, too, the funniest part about that whole day, and it was a fun time, was this poor kid, after we had been, passing out that Jaeger bottle, we were on Jaeger bottle 2, and we're walking, like, our seats are, like, by the tunnel at the Ralph, and, there's this kid with his dad, and this kid's wearing a fucking Packers hat. And we're looking around, and we're like, oh, shit. Where's Skocky? He's going to probably say something to that kid. Because he likes to say to people, if they're wearing football, if you're ever at a Bills game, and if it's Bills, whoever, and somebody's wearing shit that's not that team that's there, he likes to yell at them, "Hey, wrong town, wrong team, asshole." And we're looking around like, oh shit, where's Skokie? Oh, he's up there handshaking everybody, saying Merry Christmas. He gets down to our seats, looks that kid dead in the eyes, he's like, hey, little buddy, rubs his head. He's like, Merry Christmas, man. What are you wearing a Packers hat for? Wrong town, wrong team, asshole. They're not playing. The dad just sat there, didn't do anything. It's beautiful.
What do you think about when they do the whole
Flag football?
well, like the pregnancy and everything when they're in the stadium watching the game? Don't you think people would just be like, "What the? Shut the fuck up!" You know?
Yeah.
Because in Bill's stadium, they would. I feel like they would not be responding with like claps and whoops and hollers. Yay, pregnant lady! You know. I don't know. It just. That's my pessimist at heart again.
Not only that, I say not only that though too, with the salute to the service, like they're only saluting, like usually it's like a group of soldiers, and they're like, I got this one here, and it's like and they don't ever let them talk. They're not like, you know, yeah, go out there and wish somebody a Merry Christmas, and she's like, I want to wish my Aunt Mary a Merry Christmas, you know, because she's waiting, and here's your, like, it's just so stupid. It's just so stupid.
And again, like I don't think the movie is like horribly bad, but it is cringy, and it definitely makes me, I don't know, a little bit uncomfortable with how upbeat and uplifting it is at times, of just like, you know, out of reality for how it is. But I don't know what else. What else can we talk about?
I think that covers it.
I think we pretty much covered it. I mean, again, this is a Hallmark movie, so we, you know, we obviously have a bias. But and we have a bias that Lacey Chabert was not included in this movie. I would like to think that she was given the role, but turned it down. Perhaps she's not a Bills fan.
Well, she's from the South. She's either from Alabama or Arkansas, so
yeah. So
probably not.
Probably
not interested.
All right, so I guess we have to give a rating to Holiday Touchdown, the Bills' love story. So, out of 0 to 10 Clancy Brown Santa Claus lookalikes and his beautiful wife Cindy Claus, what would you? Who's just looking for the eggnog, you know?
Yeah,
and Cindy Claus handing out what I like to think of as spiked drinks at the local Viddlers.
I know, for free.
Like, she's going to Carolcade? No, you're going to Carolcade. Here's some drinks on the house. And I don't know what they were, but I like to think it was probably some mulled wine or something. So they could go wassailing.
Ma'am, I'm Jewish. I don't give a shit.
I don't care. You're going to Carolcade. Okay? Sing Dreidel Dreidel out there. I don't give a shit.
Dreidel, dreidel, dreidel.
They did have a menorah or something in the background. And
no, they did at the Viddlers.
Yeah. That's nice.
Listen, Carolcade, little disappointed. Why is it always like deck the halls? Like, we can't, like, come on.
That's the only thing. Yeah, the scene is.
And like, how do you feel like if you're the guy in those carols, not just in the Carolcade, but in every situation like this, and you're the guy that's like, I have a bad hairline, and no one loves me, and I have to be the guy that wears like the stovetop,
the Victoria,
top hat. Like, you know, I'm that one caroler that has to bring that on, so everyone knows, like, this, it's like Dickens here.
That's right. You're the guy that, like, everyone else is like, I'm just gonna wear these like dollar store light up Christmas lights around my neck, and he's
and some earmuffs and maybe a scarf. But you got the one lone trooper who's like, I need my Victorian stovepipe.
Whoa! Why did you go raid the local theater? Okay.
Maybe, you know what? Maybe that's what it is. It's always like some like thespian from like theater that's constantly getting rejected, and he's like, "This is my big moment to go out on the street and say, deck the halls with balls of holly."
Yeah, you've always got that one guy.
What are balls?
Balls of holly.
Yeah. What is that?
I think it's boughs. Boughs.
No, I know, but like measurement, like what is that?
The balls of holly. I have 4 balls of holly.
Like I never understood that part. Like that, how like bows it like.
Yeah, it's a measurement like hands used to be.
And feet.
Got 7 hands. All right, what would you give Holiday Touchdown, Bill's Love Story?
I give it a 5 out of 10. It's not a bad film. It's fun enough. If you're a Bills fan, watch it just to see and like how, like, depending on like how cynical you are. If you're like a cynic like me, you're probably gonna be like, this is fucking stupid and tripe. But you might be like, if you're an older and more kind of a soul, like, this is wonderful. It's not a bad film. It ain't great, though. It's just a 90-minute soap opera film with very tenuous plot, very contrived, very Hallmark. Gene Roddenberry of Star Trek would be proud. There's no conflict. There's no, nothing really carrying the film forward. It's like, Joe Pantoliano is great. He's fine. Everyone does a fine enough job, but again, like, it's not the actor's fault. It's just, this is what these type of films demand from cast and crew. So, like, if you're, like, a Bills fan, I'd say check it out just for the novelty of it. If you're a sucker for these kind of very, saccharine, sweet holiday films, give it a shot. If not, there's no reason for you to be watching it. So 5 out of 10. It is what it is.
Yeah, I mean, I would pretty much agree with that. 5 out of 10. I'm not going to be a Grinch here and say, like, it's a horrible movie. It's fine, especially if you are already very much akin to what Hallmark brings to the table for these Christmassy movies. Again, you can't really ask for anything more Christmassy than a Hallmark movie. Like, that's one area of the budget that they do not scrimp on. It's just like throwing up Christmas everywhere in the backgrounds. And so that's fine, and again, it's very much situated within this holiday season. I think that it's fine enough. It's fun enough. It's entertaining for what it is. Although I would definitely say that the film itself is very, very lukewarm in the way that it presents any sort of plot. It's just kind of just things happen and it's like a very truncated Scooby-Doo episode where they're like, we need to find this receipt. And like, that's the whole movie, is they're searching for a receipt. And then they find the receipt, but the name is scratched out and they can't see what the name is. Like, that's the level of mystery that we're working with here, So I would say that the film has a really kind of boring and minimalist plot, but at the same time, it's fun enough. If you like Buffalo Bills and you're really not too critic-oriented, I would say you probably will like this. You'll just like all the cameos and appearances and stuff like that. But it's fine enough. And that's why I'm giving it a 5 out of 10. I think people will enjoy it for what it is. And, I don't want to have my bias cloud this movie any more than we already have in the discussion. So,
and like I said too, especially if you're a Bills fan, like part of the reason why I hate it is it's such a shill for the new stadium too.
Yeah.
Like, hey, like, new stadium, guys, come on. It's just, it's just disgusting. Like, the commercial now, like how commercial it is like like for the stadium and the team is ridiculous. Like, oh, we have I forgot to mention this. Like, oh, we don't just have Buffalo Bills throw pillows. We have 716 ones.
Yeah,
because that's the area code. And which again, fine branding by the Pagula family, because before they bought the Bills, they owned the Sabres. They own both of them now. But once they bought the Bills too, they wrapped it up into one big thing. One Buffalo, 716, one Buffalo, So, cool, but it's just so, like, the shilling is just ridiculous, like,
Yeah, I agree with that. That is definitely true. This was an advertisement for the Bills, and there's no wonder that they bit on it and basically said, there's probably contractual things that are like, you need to get the players here. I don't care what you do. You need to get a few of the players in this movie. You need to get the coach in this movie. It's just kind of like, it seems like an ad, and I think the same would probably be true of the Chiefs, especially the popularity of the Chiefs last year. So who knows? What are we going to get next year for the holiday touchdown movie of the year? Who do you think would be the best NFL team to be the third in this series?
The Jets.
You think the Jets? The Jets. The knee. Holiday touchdown of a Jets losing. It's just...
See, that's why it'd be great. Like, I've been a fan of this goddamn team since Namath got that Super Bowl, and we can't fucking every year's a goddamn... Fuck those guys. Like,
it would be hilarious if there was like...
Down on Staten Island, fucking here's Pete Davidson.
They should make that Jets movie, and at the end of the movie, they don't get together.
It's just... Yeah, I decided to get back with my boyfriend who used to beat me because he's a piece of shit.
He's a piece of shit, but he's a piece of shit, I know.
At least okay? And he's a Giants fan. They actually win every now and then. Whoa!
That's hilarious. We should do the Jets next. Yeah. We can write it. We'll write it for them. Don't get these people who haven't written a script before. Hire us.
One of the Bills games I went to, I think it was like 2017. It was opening day. It was 2017 or 2018. The opening day was against the Jets. They had a fucking fuselage there for you to slat like a jet fuselage. For you to take a hammer and bang the shit out of.
Yeah.
It was just like all I could think of. Like, I wonder if it's the plane from 9/11. So like, oh god.
All right. Well.
That and the guy yelling at Muhammad Wilkerson, because we were like front row, yelling at Muhammad Wilkerson, the Jets defensive end, like, "Hey Wilkerson, you look like you eat bratwurst and peas." Still don't know what the hell that means to this day, but it's one of the funniest things I ever heard in my fucking life.
All right, well, that's our episode on Holiday Touchdown, the love story. We'll be back again next week.
This is like the first time you've like actually stuck to calling it by the full title.
Yeah, the whole title. You have to, because everybody's going to get confused with the Chiefs love story. Of course, they're such, they're household names. So.
A holiday touchdown. Did Travis Kelce give you chlamydia?
Yeah, so we're going to continue Festivus Series all December long. We'll be back again next week with another episode. Another holiday themed episode, of course. And hopefully you stick around. I think you'll enjoy it. We'll have copyright-free tunes playing in the background, so you don't need to worry about your caroling. And... yeah, it's going to be a fun time for Festivus. So, if you like...
Check your Saxon Yule logs.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, the Saxon Yule. If you like what you hear, subscribe to us on pretty much any podcast app you can think of. We're on Apple Podcasts or home base at Spotify. Whatever you use, we're on it. So, subscribe, leave us a nice review. We have a Facebook and Blue Sky. You'll just search for us on there, Blood and Black Rum Podcast. And we have an email address at bloodandblackrumPodcast@gmail.com. You can write to us, let us know what you like, what you don't like, what movies you want us to watch, and we'll take that into consideration. You can also donate to us on our Patreon page. Anything you donate goes back towards beer, so we appreciate that in advance. Thanks for listening to our episode on Holiday Touchdown. Hope you enjoyed. Hope you love the Bills. We're hoping for another, at least, playoff season this year, and hopefully more. So, with that said, thanks for listening. And until next time,
take care.